So it's black to move here after bishop to e4. And actually, what's depth? 15 ply. The computer says the rook g8 is the only move to keep any advantage here for black, and it thinks that knight takes f4 is actually quite okay for white. Maybe even slightly better for him. So rook g8, what's the idea? King h2, knight g5.
Well, knight c5 threatens both the pawn on a4 and the bishop on e4. I don't really understand.
Ah, yeah,
If he plays it immediately, then...
Ah, yeah, we can take on c6.
Take on c6,
yeah.
That's why you have to give a check.
If you take, then the rook is hanging, and you can't save the rook because then the bishop just comes back.
So if you give a check
first? If you give a check first... Hang on a minute.
No, I can't play bishop g2.
Yeah, no, yeah, because he just takes it. And then rook, knight e1 check. Let's move.
Or the rook's defended by the knight on d4.
Yeah, okay, knight e1 first, yeah, of course. That's much better. You played knight takes f4?
Yeah, he's going for the draw.
Yeah, it's fun to look draws. I mean, knight takes c6 looks absolutely forced. To take, and takes back. And c5 also looks forced, so I think we'll get this position. Not much going on, I'm afraid. So, okay, we spent some time on this position actually, so maybe we should see if anything happened in some other games. Okay, maybe some developments in Gíslason against Stefansson. So King h2 was the last move we saw. We thought black was doing okay here, but he played d5, which yeah, actually okay, it protects the bishop, but you're losing a lot of ground on the black squares in the center. White played queen f4, which black answered with d4, and now white could have played rook 8 takes d4, it seems, when it's not at all clear where the compensation is.
Don't understand. Was he going to play e5 or something? What was his plan?
This might have been the plan.
Maybe white can just take with a knight, and if the bishop takes g2 he could play f3 or something.
Yeah, just trap this bishop right away. Because black has given up a lot of pawns. 4 pawns. Yeah. White's gonna win the bishop on g2, it seems. But looks like he trusted him and he played instead g4. Yeah, strange position. I mean, this doesn't look a lot like... It's not something I would expect Hannes to do, to go here d5, d4. Because this pawn structure was really solid. The pawn on d6. It seems like a move like bishop d5 and just take the pawn. Yeah. Black has a really solid position and he can slowly and slowly play for an advantage. But instead he played d5. Maybe he was tempted by to complicate the game because he has a big time edge.
Yeah,
Gíslason is down to 5 minutes and Stefansson has 25 minutes, but still, you shouldn't really base your strategy too much on your opponent's time. I mean, it can be good, but okay. We have a question: Is Hjartarson playing at this championship? No, he's not. I don't believe he has played in the championship in this millennium. But of course, he is still. I think he's still the highest rated Icelandic Grandmaster.
Yeah.
And we have a response to G4, and Spinal Tap says ew. Yeah, it looks kind of strange, this move. I'm not sure what the idea is. Is it so important to? He clearly wants to play G5, but yeah, he wants to play G5 and then he can take on D4 and the E4 bishop hangs, something like that. So Hannes is thinking here. Hannes the menace. Yeah, so if it was white to move, then I guess T5. Okay, then I could move here, but it's not a great square. And if we go back, then we can take the rook. And now there's no E5. Well, okay, it's possible actually now, but maybe there's some ideas that the D7 knight hangs. I mean, it's complicated, but clearly the idea is to play D5. So, yeah, black will think about moves like E5, H6. G5 looks a bit extravagant, and also there's always the idea of, like we talked about before, just trapping the bishop, so maybe not the greatest idea in the history of mankind. Yeah, but things are heating up here. Actually, before G4, yeah, the computer really liked white if he had just taken on D4, but maybe he overlooked something after E5. Yeah, Bray has got Thruster in some time trouble now. So look at that game.
Yeah.
And the position wasn't looking all that great. C7, blah 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 blah. D4, B4, Queen B2. Here, Thruster went Knight E7. And we should mention that the Thruster is getting down to 5 minutes. And if you have to play Knight E7 with Knight G8, then something has gone wrong for you. Knight G3, bringing another knight closer to the king. It's starting to look really dangerous for black. Queen F7. Rook F1, lining up against the queen. Hoping for some tactical opportunities. And King F8. Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me that if Bray is thinking about something like F5, just ripping everything open. I mean, E5 is properly covered here. I mean, if this works, then it's close to game over. Yeah, it's tough because, I mean, if you try to keep things closed, let's say we take here, okay, maybe d4, maybe we start with this. Well, taking with the queen, then you just give up all the squares here. I don't know. It's one bad choice after another here. This looks bad. Can we? I mean, we can take on f6 and go rook f1. If nothing else, this should be enough to win. So it looks like f5 might be a very dangerous possibility here. And despite the ace thinking after king f8. f5, what else is there? I'm not sure. Should we try and keep the f file closed like this? That's one option, but even still, it's gonna be positionally such a bad position for black. I'm not sure even what we take with. I mean, I think we need the queen here, so maybe this. But even still, I mean, we have this knight coming to d5. We can play h4 and then just build up like we want, really. I mean, there might be something better for white, but still looks good. So f5, it looks like kind of the principled moves. The position is asking for it. Okay, although cheating a little bit, the computer actually says g takes f6 is quite strong here. He wants to play e5. Queen takes f6, e5. Queen d7, bishop takes, knight takes, queen d2. Ah, okay, interesting. Supposed to take on b4 then, I guess, if take on e5. Yeah, I mean, black pieces are just so badly placed. I mean, in a variation like this, all the knights are somehow not where they want to be. White has all the squares. He wants to maneuver to e4, g4 to f6 in some cases if the other knight moves. So, looking quite bad. Number of promising options for white.
Yeah.
And what's worse for black is that white has more time here. He has 12 minutes. I mean, you can think about 11 minutes about his move, and then he will still have a time match. So, I think Brian will actually spend some time here and try to figure out how best to proceed here. He's definitely thinking about f5. I don't like the chances for thruster right here. Okay, maybe. Well, we haven't checked in with Gummi for a long time. Let's have a look. That's that one, which we left at I think around here, 22 rook e1. Henrik White and Gumi Kjartansson. Everybody calls him Gumi. Where's Gumi? Rook f8 actually was played, yeah. h3, he made Luft, that looked like the best move. Queen to h4 was played. So black is moving in here. King h2, and now, yeah. His main trump in the position where the rook's on the f file, and now he moves the rook to f2. Queen to b3. Queen f4. Which allows knight d3. Was this really necessary? Let's see, queen b3. No, it looks like it wasn't. Can we overlook knight d3? simple fork on
Yeah, but he played
rook, d3.
queen d2, and if he takes on
d2.
f2, he can take on e1.
Aha. But if I play, yeah, I can't play rook d1. It's protected by the bishop, which we been talking so badly about for a while. Okay, so maybe it is okay. Queen d2. So yeah, we can't take this because it just takes here. And now the knight is attacked, and well, things start to fall. We could maybe take on e4. Maybe we want to keep the queen on the first rank and think about penetrating with the rook as well. This doesn't seem to be an option. So what is
also black might be threatening to play rook f3. Rook.
Yeah, rook 8 to f3 here.
Yeah.
If it's black to move. So 0 variation. Rook 8 to f3. Point is of course that this is pinned here, and if rook takes, we're mating in quite elementary fashion. And we're also pinning the knight, so there's no knight takes f2.
Yeah.
We're threatening, well, rook takes d3 and rook takes d2, and might also think about rook takes d3 and rook takes queen takes e1 if needed. So maybe not so easy actually. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's some calculation by computer lines on the home page, but on the other hand, it's only like 13, 14 ply, which isn't that much, so you shouldn't really
Okay,
count on it.
He took on d5.
He took on d5, which was actually the first choice of the computer. And let's stay on this one for a while, because
now something crazy might happen after rook 8
yeah.
to f3.
Glad to hear, Stupid Bishop. Hope you enjoy. Stupid Bishop. Yeah, and this is the stage of the game where you're not drinking crystal, you're having a headache, so put ibuprofen back on. He takes d5. One man, one decision. Is he thinking about rook 8 to f3? Must be.
Yeah, I think so.
Can we do that? Ah, okay. There's one difference, of course, now we can maybe...
There's something crazy might happen here. King g7.
King g7. Making a knight looks cool, but... oh, I have auto queen. But the king just goes to h6. And nothing further. Nothing further, Your Honor. But maybe something like this is an idea. Okay, take Czechoslovakia. No, there's not even a check on f8, so this doesn't even work.
Yeah, but after queen g8, king takes e8 queen. He might be able to check on e7 and defend the g5 square. Does it take and take on? No, he just.
I'm taking f. No.
No, I was thinking king takes g3, but he takes on g2.
Ah, you were thinking about if you could run somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. Spin mating. Very complicated. What's the time situation? Gumi has 9 minutes, so definitely he's calculating here. So king g7, queen g8, king takes e8, queen. Let's see if we have any comments on this. e8, queen check, king g7. Possibly, no. Possibly, maybe. King g7.
There's also
Wait a minute. There's knight takes f2 and queen 5 check.
yeah.
Then we'll take on g3, protecting everything. Yeah. So that's a nice variation, and it looks completely forced.
And there's also maybe after rook takes g3, e7 check, king g7, knight takes f2 immediately. And
It takes f2 immediately. Rook takes b3, and we just make a queen here.
dangerous. But
I think this should be open for white as well. Because now the f8 square is open, we can have some mating ideas with rook e7 maybe.
million threats.
Yeah. 1001 million ways to checkmate. So probably this is not working. Rook 8 to f3 idea. Is he thinking about it? He's still thinking. So I mean, if he doesn't take immediately on d5, he's definitely trying to calculate this. Is there anything else here? Probably not. I mean, this is the only idea to try and give mate here. Can we go to no? Yeah. I also had an idea. If king h6, we just go queen f8 check.
Yeah.
And of course, if you take, then you're just losing too much material here. And you might even be mate almost, but not quite. Okay, I mean, worst case scenario, we just take and rock the exchange, but might be something better.
But if
King. Well, then we just take on f2. Hello. And game set match.
But if black takes on d5, b takes d5.
That looks actually quite forced at the moment, but still he's spending a lot of time on this.
And it seems to me that white needs to be fairly quick making some threats around the black king.
Yeah, now, okay, after e takes d5, e takes d5. Now again we're threatening rook 8 to f3, so how can white react here? And note that the knight can't move because the rook is attacked. So how do we deal with this threat? This rook also can't move because it takes. This might defend, I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe something on f3. Bishop.
Yeah, bishop f3 maybe. Can I take on f2 now? Yeah. Well, yeah, we can. Yeah. So maybe this is the only move to defend here.
Yeah, but after rook e3 you can take on g2.
Yes, that's correct. Rook takes g2, rook takes g2, queen takes e3, and this king is very vulnerable. Should be red because it's really vulnerable. But still he's thinking, using our He's used about 60-70% of his remaining time on this move, and they're on move 27, so he's going to be in time trouble for the next 13 or so moves. Down to 3 minutes against 9. Yeah, so let's go actually to current position. He's thinking after he takes d5. A lot of things. Yeah, things are happening fast now because we're in the time trouble stage. Gretarson's thinking zone was rather draw is ending. We thought Thruster was struggling against Bragi, and
yes, Gretarsson was thinking zone agreed to draw.
they agreed to draw already? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we did, okay.
Whoa.
Oh, he played rook 8 to f3. We think this is a blunder. But I kind of knew he would do it. Kind of knew he would do it, but okay. It's not too difficult, and the bad part about this is, while he doesn't play e takes d5, of course immediately Henrik will realize that he's thinking about something else because the recapture is the most obvious. So Henrik has been able to calculate also the consequences of rook 8 to f3, but most importantly he has been able to do so on his opponent's thinking time. So he should have things equally well, if not better, figured out than Gummi, and should be able to find the solution here. I'm wondering what Gummi missed, because I'm wondering what he missed. I mean, okay, d takes e6, rook takes d3, e7 check, king g7 is the only move. Yeah. And queen g8. Yeah, we thought maybe even knight takes f2 is working as well. Because well, rook takes b3 wins and queen takes e1. We just take on g3 and we have the dream-ending that white always wanted.
Yeah.
We can never lose here. But maybe even queen g8 is just completely winning. So I'm really surprised that we went for this continuation. Yeah, I'm being asked if I didn't play. I mean, originally there were 7 GMs and 3 IMs in this tournament, and so I just didn't make it. I mean, I was like second or third reserve, so I didn't expect to play the tournament. But actually, it turned out that 2 people withdrew from the tournament. So when the second one withdrew, I actually got offered a seat in the tournament, but I wasn't expecting to play. I had no preparation for my opponents, and since I really need to get my rating to 2400, I don't want to play a tournament where I have no preparation, because it's so important to get 2400 if you want to become an IM. And yeah, like I said, if I had already fulfilled my rating obligations, then I would just play for the fun of it. But yeah, as things stand, I didn't want to. And also, I mean, to decide on the same day, you're not prepared mentally. I'm not expecting to play, so at 2 o'clock to decide, okay, let's play, it's just too short of a notice for me. But okay, enough talk. Let's see what happened. We thought rook 8 to f3 was a mistake here. He takes d5, rook 8 to f3. A very demanding move, and typical of Gummi. He takes chances. He believes it. What? He took on c6. Why on earth? D takes e6, man. This is... Oh, I don't believe this. So d takes c6, rook takes g3, queen takes e6 check, and rook f7. And looks like white might have to force a perpetual here. Queen, yeah, I think it's perpetual because here, check. And if black tries to play for a win, we actually check here. And no matter where we go, now we're covering everything and we got a lot of pawns. So looks like Gumi might be escaping with a big blunder here. Because as far as we could tell here, white could have won with d takes e6. But now it's looking like white has to go for the draw. I mean, there's a mate threat here. And now if we take this guy, then there's check here. Well, if we don't, yeah, okay, check here. Then we take on c6 and everything is okay. So yeah, things are maybe evening out here. Meanwhile, in Thruster's game, he's in severe time trouble playing with the increment right now. Bragi and Thruster. And let's see. Need to find this game. Yeah, it's this one. La 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 la. Okay, we left after. Yeah, he thought about. After king to f8. He actually played queen d2 first. Oops. This one, king f8. Yeah, he played queen d2. Many promising options, but we went for this one. a5. We're attacking this. We were attacking it. We were not taking it. Hello. So a5, and now he actually played the move. We thought he would play a move earlier, but he wanted to improve his queen first. So f5 was played. G takes f5. E takes f5. e5. Oh, sorry. 27 f5. G takes f5. E takes f5. Bishop takes g2 was played. I'm sorry. Override, and queen takes g2. Pawn to e5. This allows rook takes d6 because now the queen is attacking this rook here. And this is really difficult for black to play here because he's playing with almost no time. Rook d5, e4, knight into h5, fg, f6, queen f7. White to move. White has 11 minutes here. It's going to be tough. Really tough for black here. Let's see, queen f7. Yeah, I mean, the queen is stuck here. I mean, I think this is just lost. Okay, he's attacking the knight, so we take here, takes on h5, but rook takes g5 just looks like game over. Game over. Which would be a fantastic start for okay, we have some moves. He didn't take on g5. He did not take on g5. Took on c5. Queen takes h5. Somebody asked online if Thruster's flag fell. No, it didn't. We're still playing moves. The moves are coming in. Rook takes g5.
Yeah, he played queen f7 with 4 seconds on the clock.
Okay.
I think.
My friend here was just in the hall. Good news. And queen f7 was played with 4 seconds on the clock. I think the clock times are live on the on the Chess.com app, which is on the homepage. Queen f7 back. G7 suggests itself when queen e6 is the only move, and then we can play probably
f7.
Probably f7. Maybe we don't even have to. Maybe rook takes h7 is sufficient even. But f7 looks tempting. Yeah, I mean, come on, because we just take with. Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's gonna be an extra queen at least. Might be a mate there somewhere.
I think he must resign the third.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. It's actually 11.8 in the computer, so I think we should start. No, stop. Wasting time on this game, which is completely over. And a nice win for Brian. And revenge for the nightmare that he suffered here. The same venue in 2012. Okay, let's go to Gummi Gisla. A lot of gummies in this tournament. We left it after g4. Let's get the correct names. g4 was played. e5. Knight takes e5, bishop takes g2. Rook to a6, attacking on f6. So the knight on f6 moved back to g8. Knight to d3. Here, yeah, the computer starts to switch it over black. The rook takes b5. Queen takes d4 check. Should play f6, which he did. Rook d6. Black should have played rook d5, which he did. That's why we call him the robot. Rook takes d5. Bishop takes d5. Computer likes white. Knight c5. This is all, yeah, more or less first choice computer moves by both. Queen takes d5. Rook takes c5. Queen d7 and king to h8. And after all these exchanges, black is up a piece. Let's go back a little bit. We lose the piece actually. 98, 93. I'm confused. Yeah, on g2. Okay, yeah. Knight takes e5. Gave away the piece on g2. So maybe he went wrong with rook a6. Because couldn't we always trap the bishop with f3? Yeah, so complications didn't work out for white here, and this is why we called him the robot. I mean, the last 6 or 7 moves he has played absolutely perfect moves for black, and seems to have neutralized the threats here. And we're in move 34. Gummi Gisla has 1.5 minutes. Hannes has 6.5. Usually Hannes is not in time trouble. Okay, white has 2 pawns, but
yeah, but after
right now the
queen a5 or queen b4 threatening to penetrate the queen e1 or something.
Yeah. And it takes white a while here to generate some threats. Yeah, maybe in queen b4, queen a5, queen b4 look like good moves. Yeah, looks like a really complicated game. But definitely white had some chances, it seemed, by taking on d4, but seems like he overlooked something. Hjörvar and Héðinn already. 3-2-8 draw. And an otherwise complicated game. c5, yeah, we'll have to here c5, bishop f3, rook d2, and they agree to draw here. Black off the draw, I mean. Okay, let's save the pawn or something. Nothing to play for. complete fortress for both. So nothing going on there. We should probably have a result in
Yeah.
Þorfinnsson against Thoralson, and indeed after Queen f7, Rook g7 was played, Queen e6, and he actually went for 95. I mean, everything wins basically, so the computer has calculated it's plus 1,000 for white after plays d5. Hey mom, I was plus 1,000 today. So that means checkmate, basically, more or less. So nice result for Brian, like we said. Let's go back to Gumi. He took on c6.
Yeah.
And yeah, he had to go for the perpetual. Yeah, I mentioned that. He didn't have anything else. So 3 results. Yeah, okay. So 3 results already. A real quick look at the final position, perhaps. Was knight f3, f5. So in this game. Yeah. Rook a to f3, which I'm not sure what they overlooked here. I mean, because Gumi went for this continuation with black, and Henrik didn't take on e6. I mean, it looked. Go here. It's 14 ply. D takes e6. Yeah, looks like the computer is agreeing with us. D takes e6. But it took on c6, and here there was nothing further. The king can't go to e7, like I said, because of queen e5 check, and then can take on g2 with the queen and cover everything with the queen. Then white is winning, so black didn't have a choice, and since black was made on g2, white didn't also have a choice. But it was the perpetual. So a draw here for Gumi against Henrik. I mean, black against the grandmaster. I mean, nothing against nothing bad to say about that. Draw in the game between Hero and Hien. Maybe to be expected before. I mean, Hien is solid with black, and I think this line overall is quite drawish. Actually, black avoids the tricks with the sacrifice on c6, but that was a really an interesting point in the game where he did not take on c6, play f4 and take on c6. Would have been quite interesting. So let's just move on to the Stefansson game. That's the only one left, but actually looking quite winning for Grandmaster Stefansson, 12-time champion. So it looks like he will get a winning start to his campaign to become the 13th-time Icelandic champion. So here, King G2, opening the rook, rook C7, Queen A4, Queen B7, Jack, F3. So still looking good for black here. Yeah, we're being asked if the 2 pawns are sufficient compensation for the piece in this position. And no, I mean, okay, he can hang around and try to fight, but white doesn't have any pass pawns and should lose here. But maybe Queen B8, B7 was a little bit passive. We could have maybe tried to penetrate with the queen, but went for the safe option, it seems. F3, rook E7, attacking the pawn on E2, which we should be. Well, there's a small trick here, but I'm not sure it's a trick really, because King F2 we might be able to take here, followed by queen check, but maybe the trick isn't such a good trick because now white has two connected pass pawns. Okay, we can check on h2, but I mean this pawn is fast, so maybe this is, I don't think this is anything black wants to do. But after rook e7, white actually wants e4.
If they exchange rooks in this position, do you think it benefits white or black?
Ah, yeah, that's a good question. If we exchange rooks, is it good for white or black? Yeah, I have a feeling it's good for black.
Yeah.
Because now there are no threats to the king, we can bring the knight to e7,
Yeah.
block the king to f7, just keep an eye on the a7 pawn and just
play g5
yeah.
and knight g6.
Yeah, g5 and get some squares for the knight, try and do our position. So probably not white need to keep the rooks on just to keep the king in check. The move count says 38 moves, but on the homepage looks like they both got half an hour on the clock. Which is either a clock malfunction or there are some moves missing where they are repeated moves, but
Yeah.
e4, king g7. Yeah, according to the clocks, which I think are, I think they're correct because it's just a digital signal which goes with the move. So I think this app picks up the correct time. So it says half an hour for both, and actually below half an hour for Gummi now. So actually his flag has fallen if this isn't correct.
Interesting.
Yeah, we'll just keep the position on. Actually, I'm gonna see if something happened. Just keep this on for a while. Yeah, it actually looks like there was a clock malfunction, and yeah, the clock counts the moves. So either the clock was incorrectly set or somebody had pressed it before, so the count was already on 2 moves when it started. But we're indeed on 38 moves. But right now the arbiters are setting the clocks, and probably they were setting the clocks before the clock ran, because otherwise Gislason would actually be out of time. We actually had the 5th game starting right now between Grandmaster Gretarsson and Einar Hjalti Jensson. But gonna take a break now for 5-10 minutes, and then we'll see what's happening in this game and in the game that they started, and we'll see how long we'll continue our broadcast. So for now, we'll take a break. Whoa, we're back. So they fixed the clock issue. King g7 was played. Queen d4. Queen to b5. King f2. Pawn a5, and here they had reached time control. Rook d5 and queen b8. White to move here. And the idea is to make a check here on h2, so looks like white played here immediately. Rook to d6. Yeah, should be winning for white, but no, I mean for black, of course, but looks like he made things slightly more difficult for himself than he had to. Because okay, I mean h4 might be what we want to play, but then we have to worry about g5 all of a sudden. We have to watch out not to reduce the pawns too heavily in this position. So yeah, but now they got half an hour each, so should be sufficient to figure out what to do here for black. But not so easy actually. So actually we had one more game starting, and that's the game Grandmaster Gretarsson, Helgi Ásgrétarsson. There are two Gretarssons in this tournament, Helgi and Hjörvar. Maybe we'll have a quick look at that one. I'm not sure we can follow it through, but let's have a look at the opening moves. Like we said, we have results already. Henrik and Guðmundur Kjartansson drew, Hjörvar and Héðinn drew, but Bragi Þorfinnsson drew first blood in this tournament when he defeated Þorsteinn Þórðarson. Just a moment, I'm going to take a phone call here. Yeah, sorry about that. Had to take a phone call there. This is actually, my colors here are not correct. It's actually Gretarsson with white and Jensen with black. And Grandmaster Gretarsson opened with c4, e6, knight c3, d5. And I have a small info for you on Grandmaster Gretarsson actually. We're not on a break. And we're gonna have a look at Helgi Gretarsson. He hasn't played for a while. He has been inactive for several years, focusing on his law career, but has played, an occasional game in the Icelandic League and some blitz tournaments. But he has been more or less retired from chess for a good while now, at least 10 years, I think. And he was a 1994 World Junior Champion and became a Grandmaster at the age of 17 by winning that very event. But of course, he later proved that he deserved that title. And he's a positional and solid player and tends to like solid systems and sometimes old systems. Plays the Steinitz system in Rui Lopez. But yeah, he has been time trouble prone in the past, but I don't know if that's a recurrent problem, but I guess we'll see as the tournament goes along. So he has white here against Jensson once again. This was a change just before the tournament, so I made an error here with the colors, but no big deal. After d4, we have pawn to c5, and this is the Taras variation. And shouldn't come as a surprise because Einar Jensen with black, he was the second of Grandmaster Thorarsson in the 2012 match for the championship against Bragi Þorfinnsson. And there, Thruster used the Taras defense as a secret weapon, so obviously something that Einar Hjalti knows something, a thing or two about. Bishop g2, bishop e7. And this is the old weapon of Kasparov, the Taras, which he used to neutralize Karpov in one of their matches, c4. Yeah, this is one way to play it. Sometimes black takes on d4, but c4, I think this was the method recommended by Jakob Vogart in his repertoire book. Bishop to e6 and e3. Yeah, okay, I'm mistaken. Yeah, there's one trick here if you actually have the bishop on e3. If you play bishop e3 here, this is something you can try in your own games, and you know your opponent plays c4, knight e5 here. And now if it goes for the same line, then you can safely take on c4 actually. Pawn takes c4 and d5. And you're gonna get the better structure after this exchange. And the point of this is with the bishop on g5, I could take with let's just go to the current position, c4, knight e5, bishop e6. White played e3, but if I go for the same trick here, knight takes d5, and now this guy is attacked. So we can't win back the piece here on d5 because g5 will hang. And once we take on e7, then this guy just goes away, or even the other one comes, and black has won a piece. So that's why the trick only works the bishop on e3. But after bishop e6, Helgi played pawn to e3. And now Einar is thinking. They're both around the 1 hour and 20-minute mark. And like I said, this game started a bit later than the others. And the reason was a withdrawal from the tournament from Grandmaster Christiansen. So Einar Hjalti had to step in and fill in for Grandmaster Christiansen. Let's go back to Gummi Gisla against Hannes Stefansson. If I can figure out where it is, I should promote it, I guess. G5, yeah, I'm not gonna play that, but we're gonna promote this so we can find it. D6. He actually took on G4 here. White took back on G4 and on G5. So the white doesn't play G5. And this means that we can start thinking about moves like F7. Trying to swing the knight to a juicy outpost on E5 or F4. So on the G5, white played B4. Then here, black improved his queen with queen to C7. So thinking about some penetrating moves here, but we also need to improve this knight here at some point. And if we can do that, we should be fine. But for now, things are rather quiet. And it's all about if white can hold here. I mean, he can't really do much but wait for black to improve his position. And yeah, I think rook f7 and try to play knight e7. So I mean, it's white to move. What can he do really? Let's just say a move like this. Can we play this? I just want to put my knight on t6. I mean, there's always something like this, I guess, but that shouldn't be dangerous. Should not. The idea is to take on t5. Or we might play queen c1 to protect it. Queen here. But like I said, the idea is just to get the knight to a better square. e5 or f4. And then try and improve from there. It looks like it should be enough to have the rook here to defend. Yeah, I think white's king is too open for white to have any reasonable chances of counterplay. So if white doesn't have real active counterplay, all he can do is wait, and then it's going to be problematic. So yeah, he's trying to think now. I'll close the window actually. So pardon the noise. Yeah, I'm wondering if all the games in the challengers have finished. Doesn't look like it. Does not look like it. And some of the lower-rated youngsters actually holding their own against some very experienced opponents. Well, one of them at least. But I have a feeling black will prevail in the end. So let's have a look at this game just while things are rather quiet. It's for this, let's just bring out a new board actually. So let's do this while we wait. We'll look at the players list while we wait. So we'll crack open another board here. Let's see. Hang on a minute. Okay, looks good enough. Right? Right. So let's just remove the names. So this is actually Björn Holm Birkesson, who is a young and talented youngster, and he's playing against Lenka Potachnikova, who is and has been the board one for the Icelandic women team for quite a while now. And Björn Holm, he should be rated around the 1600 mark, so Lenka 2200 plus, so a big difference in rating, but Björn Holm is an up and coming player. So let's see what happened here. C6, F4, and D5. And this is the Gurgenidze system with H5. And the idea here is to build up a wall of pawns on the light squares, develop the bishop outside of the chain, and then exchange it. So knight f3, knight h6. I think we'll see that pretty quickly here. Bishop d3, b6. Okay, I was expecting bishop f5 here, but she went e6 actually, and decided to exchange the bishop on this side of the board. Okay, the idea remains more or less the same. Black wants a structure he might get from a French defense, but with the bishop exchanged. This one, and good control over the light squares. Looks like I missed some moves here. Bishop d2. Oh, whoa. Knight c7. Okay, d1. What? Let's go back. Bishop takes a6, knight takes a6 on the 11th move, so I missed a move here. 8 castles, e6, b3, bishop a6, bishop a3. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. Knight f5. It looks like currently there's some time trouble in the game, so let's try to catch up. Now we have bishop takes a6, knight takes a6, queen to d3, knight c7, rook a to d1, bishop h6, attacking this pawn here. Bishop to c1, protecting the pawn, queen to e7, keeping options open, and finally deciding on castling queenside. c4, king b7, bishop into d2, knight to a6, ct, a3, rook c8. So black doesn't have any problems, but of course she's much higher rated, so she must win. So the only question is how to make progress here. I mean, this looks like a typical French position that you expect to win with black, but it's still quite solid for white, so it's not at all clear how we continue here. a6, rook c2, queen to c7. No, rook c7, of course. I apologize. 25, rook d to c1, h to c8, rook c3, bishop f8. Now she's attacking the pawn on a3, which she defends rather passively. Bishop e7. Yeah, we improved the bishop a little bit. It didn't really do much on these squares, so slightly more influential on the square e7, rook c2, knight a7. And now it feels like black is starting to improve her position. Ideas like knight b5 now, knight c3. Yeah, this knight, a very strong knight, and just keeps white completely tied down to this pawn, which is the biggest weakness in the position really. Black doesn't really have any weaknesses that can be attacked. If you attack with knight g5 at some point, then we can chop it off, and this bishop is doesn't have any real good prospects. Black might potentially think about knight b5, and the idea is just to penetrate with rook on c2, something like this. When we have a double attack, let's say a4 is a blunder now because knight takes, queen takes, bishop c5. wins the queen. So this is also attacked, so looks forced to take and take the queen. If you take back, then maybe rook c2 is possible, but then again maybe white keeps it all together with rook a2, and we can't really improve further, so black has to be careful here. This probably doesn't work. It might be an explanation for why she went with her knight to c6 instead. Okay. Next, this might... Well, okay, again we have the threat on d4, but Björn Holm played knight e2, avoided the threat of knight takes d4. Yeah, maybe it's better. Knight c6 is better than knight b5. Okay, even if you want to go knight b5, just go knight c6 first, because there's no knight takes b5. So at least now this threat is alive. Your opponent is in time trouble, so you can give him some headaches with this threat. But okay, he saw it, but now queen c8. And now we might be more ready for actions like knight a7 to b5. Well, it still looks solid. I mean, this is interesting, and it would be quite a scalp for Björn Holm if he manages. Oh, knight c3. Now we can take on d4. Yeah, typical. I mean, his clock ran down, and yeah, he missed the threat or forgot about it, and now she can just take on d4. So that's a typical way that the lower-rated player often loses. Spends too much time thinking about the threats and defending them. I mean, it's understandable, but once you get down to just playing on the increment, it's so hard to keep up. And it looks like to me that black can just take on d4, and it's going to be a game over, game set match. So unfortunate, because it wasn't all clear how black would break through, and it would have been nice for him to at least make her demonstrate a win there, but unfortunately he blundered here with knight c3. She's still thinking about it. I mean, she has 31 minutes, so she will check to see if everything is okay, and then take on a d4. I don't see anything wrong with it, so should be fine. Yeah. We'll see real quick if she makes this move. Yeah, knight c takes d4 has been played, and this means that there are no upsets on the first 4 boards in the challengers group. And well, played b4, but now we might even have the option of taking on c3. More tactics, right? First bishop takes, queen takes, and the check on e2. So more tactics. Let's see if she sees them. I have no doubt she will see it. I mean, she's a very well-trained and accomplished player, and she'll be board 1 for the Icelandic women's Olympiad team. The Olympiad is in August, and always an exciting tournament. Yeah, the thing is, rook takes c3. It's so forcing. There's no way out of it. We don't have time to take on d4 or anything, so rook takes c3 works. So we're going to stick around here as well and see if she sees rook takes c3. If not, we're going to have Gonna have to have a talk. But yeah, after rook takes e3 and then the subsequent bishop takes, queen takes, and fork on e2. Black will have 2 pieces for the rook and an extra pawn, and it should be completely winning. And she played rook takes c3, nice. That's ending to this game, and actually black can more or less, white can more or less resign. Yeah, I'm being asked if this was a tournament where I was runner-up, but that was the Icelandic Blitz Championship, unfortunately. I haven't played the Icelandic Championship for a few years now. I peaked in like 2003 when I was third. And okay, I've played in a bunch of them for like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 times. I'm not sure. And since then, never had any great success in it really. I mean, it's a tough tournament. Usually, I'm one of the bottom seeds when I play it, so it's tough. Okay, so this game is basically over. He took on c3, she took back, e2 check, king f2. This has all been played, and this is just completely game over, so we will not dwell on this one. It was a near draw. Well, not a near draw, but black still had to demonstrate something. But unfortunately, the young and talented Björn Holm ran into trouble on his clock and couldn't cope with the situation. Possible that he's running out of time as well here. So okay. Meanwhile, queen c7, queen d2. Back to the game. Gíslason, Stefansson. Yeah, 45, queen d2, king h8. Figuring the king is safe here. a4. The idea was to swing the rook to h7 to get some chances on the newly opened h-file. King e3, rook h3, a5, and queen c4. So black wants to bring the action to the white king here. And actually, knight h6 looks quite good here with threatening knight g4. And the problem is we can't go to the second rank because of the big jack here, taking out the queen. So what do we do here? I'm not sure. The thing is, if we make a jack here, okay, if we're scared we can interpose, but we can't play queen f7. Can we just play here? Cool, calm and collected, maybe. He played knight h6. Look at Hannes. Hannes the menace, the robot. The robot, he did it. Knight h6. Yeah. It looks like Hannes is starting to organize his pieces. Not even well here for white. Things are falling apart. Looks like we will have another decisive result. Meanwhile, not much happening in Gretarsson Jensson. They only played one move since we checked the last time. 13, it's 27, yeah. So, yeah. So, wherever you are in the world, for tomorrow, the second round, it will start at 1 o'clock local time. Right now, it's about 8:30, so that means 7.5 hours from now. Well, we go back 7.5 hours, it's 1 o'clock, so The difference is 7.5 hours from now tomorrow. So you can make the calculation. So if right now it's 7:30 for you, then tomorrow at 12 the round will start. If it's 6:30 for you right now, tomorrow at 11 the round will start, etc. So you get the idea. And the weekend rounds will start at 1 o'clock local time. And also next Thursday it's a holiday, so it starts at 1 o'clock as well. But other rounds will be starting at 4 o'clock like today. This is all local time. I'm not sure what it's called. I know it's Eastern time. -4. No, +4. Yeah, it's Eastern time and +4. So if there's like a basketball game starting at 8, then it's 12 o'clock for Iceland. Okay, we have a new move. Actually, the best move, knight h6, queen g2. So white coming up with the best defense, but is that enough? Now, in some cases, the pawn on b4 will be hanging. White played black played queen c1 check. Here it's a little bit tricky. The only move is actually the counterintuitive king d4. But I was going to play that. I think most people would play rook d2, but that allows, perhaps, yeah, it allows knight takes g4. But it's hard to see. I mean, this is natural. Then you have to see that play this, and there's no way for the queen to protect this. And very important, the queen covers c8, so there are no checks. So interesting to see if Hannes will see this. Hannes. Yeah, well, both of them actually. Rook d2 just looks so natural, and the question is if you play the natural move, and also if he sees this. Rook d2 there's also, well, no, rook d2 looks like the most natural actually. Yeah. So if we have some decisive, okay, play king d4. Wow. I think once this game is more or less over, we're gonna finish this broadcast for now and come back tomorrow well rested. And yeah, tomorrow we'll give you an update about the Gretarsson against Jensen game. But let's see. I'm not thinking about Real Madrid right now. Checking my email. Really slow, man. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What? So now the rook on h3 is intact. Put it on h4 or h1. h1 looks more active and natural. Yeah, I'm pretty certain he will play rook h1 here. Oh, I'm sorry. I played queen a1. Take that back. Queen a1 check. And king c4. I'm wondering if black is messing up a little bit, because now maybe the king becomes active. We're chasing the king to where he wants to go, because all the black pieces are on the king side, the rook and the knight. So maybe the king can become an attacking piece now. Just go for the a7 pawn, get some counterplay. What's going on? What's going on? We'll get one. That's maybe a bit too optimistic, actually, but let's see what they come up with here. King b5, going for the attack. Okay, at least it's counterplay. I mean, okay, play this, bring the rook. You know, it's probably more than you want to think of, more than you want to think about. So now maybe you must go knight g8 because check. And then you think about taking maybe even queen a2. Could be a tricky move. So this hand is making this more difficult than it should be. Might be. Might be, my friend. So Han is thinking after king b5, the 12th time Icelandic champion is thinking about life. And his decisions in this game so far, are they good enough, or did he mess up? I guess we'll find out. Queen e5 played on the board, put it on the board, queen e5. Czechoslovakia, you have to move the king. King a6 makes the most sense. I mean, yeah. Put it on the board. Okay, he hasn't played it, but he'll put it on the board. Yeah, I mean, it should be winning for white, but I would not be comfortable with chasing the black king to take on a7, and all of a sudden white has some passed pawns you have to deal with. Seems like he could have dealt with things a bit better with. I think queen a1 was. Why? I mean, if rook h1. And you're starting to coordinate your pieces, and you don't have to get this one too active like you did. Queen a1, king starts to penetrate. Okay, he actually went rook d5. Not penetrating with king, and now queen b8 check. And that looks like a mistake, at least according to the computer. I'm getting too tired to think by myself right now, so I'm gonna trust the computer. Thinking a6. Yeah, computer first choice. Yeah, I always thought that black would just stay solid and put the knight on a better square. He never activated the knight. It seemed like it was the most solid plan, just to keep everything on the 7th and put a knight on e5 or f4. Try and go from there, but no, the knight is a bit out of play there on h6, so do something about it. What can you do about it, man? Gotta do something about the knight. Looks to me like Einar Hjalti is well prepared in the other game. Okay, well, we'll wait for some developments. Let's go back to that. It was c4 actually. e6. We have this Tarrasch defense. 95 bishop e6. Pawn to e3. Black on knight d7. Yeah, I have a feeling that Einar knows his stuff quite well here. I'm actually going to predict a draw. But you never know. I mean, these positions are quite solid for white and technical, and perhaps suit the style of Grandmaster Gretarsson, who hasn't been active for a while, so maybe he wants to play technical chess and avoid complications. But after knight b6, this looks solid for black. And yeah, Houdini says 0.00 equal. But he hasn't played knight b6, so we'll have to wait and see. But back to Gíslason Stefansson, queen b8 check, king a6. Now we have to get the rook out of that prison on h1. But how to do that? Okay, actually, I'm worried right now. I think my favorite football club is playing tonight. Okay, it's in Selfoss, so I'm not able to see it anyway. Should we see if we can see the score? Selfoss, Þróttur Reykjavík.
Hvað stundur þetta?
0-1, I don't know, downstairs maybe, I think. Yeah, my team is leading 1-0, which would mean if they can hold on, it will be the third consecutive win in the league in 3 tries, which would be pretty awesome. But we have a move, king a6. Hannes is thinking. Yeah, come on, this must be then somehow. I mean, the computer isn't going crazy. It's like minus 2.68, but we also play here and the rook c1. What can white play? He has to play rook c5. Okay. Otherwise, it's getting mated. So this one here is forced. He has played rook c1. So now we're on our own. Somehow we have to bring the knight into the game. But it's a little bit tricky because the flank pawn is actually the knight's worst enemy. So if white can trade queens, then black must all of a sudden watch out, because the knight might not be able to catch up to the pawn. And if we, let's say, exchange queens and then sack the knight for the pawn, then this king is a bit far away for the pawn ending. It has to go a weird path to win some pawns. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves, and I mean, white might already be back by then. They play rook c1 instead of queen c8, and it's actually slightly more subtle because we're keeping the threat alive of this queen c8 next move. If something like this, then we can't go back. It's made, and yeah, takes. It's also not very good for you. This is bad for your health. So again, he probably must go rook c5, which he did. And now at least we keep the a pawn. We have some options. It's funny. There are 3 computers: Houdini, Komodo, and Stockfish. And Houdini was minus 3.5, Komodo 2.6, but Stockfish 4.6. So I disagree a little bit. Rook d1 was played. Evil ideas here. Probably rook back to d5. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It's since he keeps the a pawn, he should be able to find something here. And we're actually getting a bit tired here after a long day, so I'm actually going to wrap it up. And yeah, tomorrow we'll just have a look at what happened in Gretersson against Jensson. My prediction is a draw. And yeah, you can take it to the bank. Stefansson will win here against Isaacson. We'll follow it for a couple of minutes, see if anything happens, but I'm probably going to give up in a few minutes and then we'll finally wrap it up. Yeah, and for the next few broadcasts, we'll have some we'll have the standings and stuff like that, and the pairings ready and on hold for you to see. Yeah, very good. I'll also try to archive this on YouTube for sure, so you can always watch back. And we'll put the archives on the homepage of the tournament. I'll try to have live commentary from each and every round if possible. So that's the plan, but if not, we'll let you know on the homepage. Icelandic Chess Championship.com. So yeah, let's just wrap it up. And I mean, if black manages not to win here, then we'll have a look at it tomorrow as well. But for now, yeah, that's the end of the first round broadcast. And we had won the Sassy win already when Bragi Þorfarsson beat Grandmaster Þorsteinn Þórðarson. Then we had a draw in Steingrímsson with black against GM Gretarsson. And finally, Grandmaster Danielsson drew with white against IM Guðmundur Kjartarsson. Yeah, so that's it for now. We actually had a move here with takes d5. Okay, I can't do it like this. I need it like this. It takes d5 and black should be able to win somehow. So that's it for today, and I'm gonna wrap this up. See you tomorrow, and thanks for watching. Bye.